Another day he's hurt. And I don't know. You know? Nolan Smith. Don't like him. Adoree. He's a chick. You know what Adoree Jackson is? Like when you're hammered at night at 3 o'clock in the morning and you need to make a call. Hey, how you doing, princess? Big Sills be over. Those were old days. Those things are gone. Reed Blankenship. You kidding me? No, thank you. Andrew Makuba. Cube. Great. Cooper DeJean. Great. I don't know what you're talking about. I love your guys. Hey, Sills, did you hear anything about Gardner Johnson showing interest in coming back to the Eagles for a decent price? Come on, man. Come on, man. Well, I'll tell you what. Every time they bring the guy back, you go to an NFC Championship game and a Super Bowl. Does Barkley have better playoff numbers than Henry? I think he might. Really? Okay. Okay. Let's see. Let's see here. Playoff Henry. Derrick Henry playoff numbers. Henry. Derrick Henry playoff stats. Let's see here. Derrick Henry playoff. So Derrick Henry. Let's see here. So in 3 games in 2019, he had 446 yards. How many yards does he have? He's got 1,002 rushing yards and 7 touchdowns in 9 games. And 5 yards a carry. 5 yards a carry. Yeah, you're right. Barkley's better. Seals, in your opinion, should we stick with Barkley or package him in picks for the Atlanta Falcons would never trade Bijan Robinson. Are you kidding? Bijan's the best back in football. Why would I want to trade for an over-the-hill running back in picks? I'm not landing on a guy like Bijan Robinson. CJ's like, oh, man. Let's see here. Does that mean Sills is out of Lamar Jackson and all the other players that sucked in 25 from other teams? You mean like Hurts? Let's see. Well, I think he played. I don't think Lamar had a great year at all. I think he's terrible. I think he was terrible last year, as a matter of fact. Okay, I do. Now, again, remember, it's got, it has everything to do with, making sure you package your guy up. Robinson's the best. Even Barkley isn't. Says he's the best cuts in football. How about this, Kim? Remember when I told you on draft day that guy was going to be special and it'd be cool if the Eagles could get him? I swear Eagle fans are some of the most, they'll say anything, right? All right. So storylines going into the combines. I threw these out here. What are some of the storylines that you want Howie and Nick to answer tomorrow? I'm hearing they're going to answer the media tomorrow. And so it's the first time since this kindergarten offensive coaching staff has been put together. You tell me, what are some of the things that you think heading into the combines have to be addressed? So I wrote these down. Let me go here. Where is that? These are some of the issues that I wrote down. heading into the combines. Let me get it up. Put it here. Okay. Howie and Nick are going to speak. And these are some of those storylines for me. New look offense. New look offense. Another young and inexperienced offensive staff. New hires. And they've been asked pretty much to fill and fix what has been a stagnant offense, especially in the passing game. And you're starting to see people understand that what they've done with their offensive line. You know what, too? I'll say this. The style of play that they had for the 4 years prior to what they're going to do now probably has put its toll and had its wear all over the offensive line. Okay? I mean, Stoutland is now out, obviously. They hired the new guy from the Green Bay Packers. They got a 43-year-old offensive line coach. The interior blocking was not good. You know what? We mentioned it all year long. I got a spreadsheet in front of me here, and I'm looking at some of the numbers. And the interior offensive line was one of the worst in the last 4 years. The offensive line inside, center and two guards, were not as productive as they've been the 3 previous years. You got to address that. How successful will they be, in your opinion, in implementing these new principles that Chris Cooper, the offensive line coach, is going to have to put and install? Okay? And you can tell that the hires have hired concepts. Every single one of these coaches that you're bringing in on the offensive side, this is all having to do with concepts. There's nothing that's been implemented. This is all concepts. When Saquon Barkley says, and it's a bullshit comment, I'm excited about the new offense. He's excited about the new theory. To what Prince said, this is a theory. Nothing's been implemented. This is not a game plan. This is a theory on what they want to try to accomplish. They looked at Glenn Schumann from Georgia as the next DC. They've been flirting around with him for a long time. Before they hired Vic, they did that. So appreciate it, Kim. Thank you for the super. So this new system, it is basically concepts. They're collecting concepts from all of these guys: Josh Grizzard, Sean Mannion, Chris Cooper, and you can tell what they're doing now. It took me a little bit to figure it out, and I was talking with a friend of mine. I was talking to Mark Trestman, actually. Okay, so this comes off the Shanahan tree, right? And this is with Sean McVay. So what they're going to do is, this is more concepts. There is nothing that they have done that makes you look at it and go, show me where this works before. So to sit there and say they're going to build a game plan, they're building it off of concepts and thoughts. None of these guys have ever been in charge of anything except for Josh Grizzard. Kevin Patullo a little bit as well. Why does Nick always need to be assisted by a guardian on the field? It is Dom after school. It's Howie. I don't know why he has to have a bodyguard there. In case he acts like an asshole, I don't know. Sills, Q1, question 1. What skills needed for the new O-line that the old O-line doesn't possess? Let's do it one here. What skills needed for the new O-line, I'm assuming coach, that the old O-line doesn't possess? Look, to me, I don't know if he wants guys to get up on the second level. I don't know if they want to have power blocking and zone blocking. I have no idea what they're going to do with the offensive line. I have no idea what if you move off of Jess Stoutland, like you just said, what is this guy going to possess that Stoutland wouldn't know? I can't answer that. I can't answer that. The old scheme had Jalen Hurts looking outside the numbers, but the WC is timing and uses the middle, West Coast. Does that change draft? Here's something, Bob, you got to think about if you're going to draft somebody in the first 2 rounds. This team needs players. They need people to step in and play today. I'm not going to draft Lane Johnson's replacement, put him on the bench, and my first-round pick is sitting on the pine. So let's just put this out there. If you bring back Nakobe Dean and Jahad Campbell sitting on the pine, and you draft Lane Johnson's replacement, and you got 2 first-rounders that you have on the bench from the last 2 drafts, how successful do you think that is, Bob? If your first 2 rounders in the last 2 drafts are sitting on the sidelines, isn't that a problem? That'd be a problem for me. By the way, JAKIB will join us. That'll be at 3:30. You got to evolve that a little bit, though, Kim, because the West Coast offense has evolved a lot from Walsh's system. It's more in space, okay? Bill Walsh School of Thought, always be drafting a quarterback. Correct. Yes. Okay? Cobb is 4:30. My bad. I'm sorry. I misspoke. Xander's at 3:30. Cobb's at 4:30. The Eagles are not running a traditional West Coast offense. How do you know that, Prince? I've been saying concept because none of the players fit the West Coast setup. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair. We need day 1 starters, first 3 picks. Well, that would be insane. Let's see. Did you have day 1 starters with the last 3 with last year's draft? Makuba started. Jahad Campbell started. Who else? So you had 2. I think if you get 2, you're lucky. So that's one of the issues that you're talking about heading into the combines. Here's the second one. Okay? Here's the second one. What do you think your pillars are going to look like in 26? Who are your pillar players? Who do you think the pillar players are heading into 2026? Let's write them down. Your pillar players. Jalen Hurts. Thank you, Stevie. Jalen Hurts. Barkley. Let's put AJ. Devontae. Lane. Mulata. Davis. Carter. Bond. Mitchell. And Dean. Cooper DeJean. Okay? Let's start there. So what are your pillars going to look like going into this season? What I mean by there's no certainty, first and foremost, that A.J. Brown is going to be back and back to all-pro status. I mean, there's no thing set in stone on that. Lane Johnson's coming off in an injury-filled year. There's no certainty he's going to be back to full strength. And by the way, I'm not saying that they're not going to be not back to full strength. Okay? Those are your 2 biggest pillars heading into the 2026 season. Okay? These are your 2 biggest guys. Hey, get this. How many people think that Jalen Hurts is going to struggle with this offense at first as he adapts to it? He struggled with every single passing offense he's ever had since he's been in Philadelphia. Why would he pick this up fast? How long is it going to take Hurts to adapt to this new offense? I'm putting on Stevie's dog treats. Thank you, Jeff. You hear that, Stevie? You get treats. There you go. I think they might dumb it down. So let me ask you this. Sylvan, do you believe that Jalen Hurts, maybe because he was learning how to set protections, that it took him a little bit to learn how to set protections? Hey, Prince, I'm saying this. Do you think he struggles picking up the new offense? Not because he stinks, but because it's new. And they're asking him to do new things. Maybe they're going to be asking him to do shit he's not done before. I mean, okay. So with that schedule, this lends you to believe there could be some struggling at the beginning. Anything new? Look at the Eagle defense at the beginning of last year. Okay? It kind of wobbled out of the gate. Vic righted the ship. Howie brought in Jaelan Phillips. And the defense by the end of the year settled down, right? I say Hurts struggles just because it's a new offense. Anybody would struggle. Now, I will give Jalen this. Jalen's dealt with this routine the last couple of years, though. So, of all the quarterbacks in the NFL, he may be more set up to deal with radical change than any other guy. If Jalen throws for over $4,000 this year, Sills, will you crown him elite? Mac, depending on how it looks. Okay, Mac, let me ask you this. Let me do something here. Okay, I'm going to read you this, and you tell me if this is elite. Okay? You tell me if this, Mac, he has to. Mac, okay? I have to. You tell me who this is, okay? 4,166 passing yards and 29 touchdowns. 49-17, 25 touchdowns. 42-98, 30 touchdowns. By the way, this is in consecutive years. 3,600 yards and 26 touchdowns. 42-65 and 35 touchdowns. 45-47 and 30 touchdowns, and 42-21 and touchdowns. 4,200 yards, 42-21 in passing yards, and 33. Are those elite numbers? This is one whale of a schedule. I got it. So wait a minute here. It says I have to. Mac, what I just read you, is that elite? I'll do it again. 41-66, 29 TDs. 49-17, 25 TDs. 4,100, 27 TDs. These are passing touchdowns. 42-98 and 30 touchdowns. 42-65 and 35 touchdowns. This is all consecutive years. And 42-21 and 33 touchdowns. Would you call that elite? Mac, would you call that elite? Oh. Listen what I just said. 41-66, 29 touchdown passes. 4,917 passing yards and 25 TDs. 41-93, 27. 42-98, 30. 42-65, 35. 42-21, 33. 45-47, 29. Who is that? according to Mac. Who are you referring to as far as these stats you're mentioning? Well, you just said if Hurts throws for $4,000, I have to consider him elite. Those are Kirk Cousins numbers. Is he elite in your mind? By the way, he's 88 and 77. Those are Kirk Cousins numbers. You must think that Kirk Cousins is elite then. No. Those are elite stats. Okay? So when you say something like that, good numbers not elite. Now you're redefining good numbers? Huh, interesting. You guys thought it was Lamar. You thought it was Dak, Jordan Love. You're shocked it was Kirk Cousins. Look how many years Cousins has thrown for $4,000 in a row. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And get this. Look, he's thrown for over 20 touchdowns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 consecutive years he's thrown for over 20 touchdowns. Empty calories? Why? He can't play defense. He can't play defense. There we go again. He's not on a very good team when he's in Washington. And at the time in Minnesota, he wasn't. Kurt doesn't have the clutch gene. Clutch gene? That's such a stupid thing. Clutch gene. You mean like Kurt's throwing that 4th and 11? Where was the clutch gene there? Oh, what? You can't win them all? All right. He's now 6-4 in the postseason. He's 2 games over 500. That's exceptional. It's not that easy to throw in the NFL. I get it. Yeah, but it's funny. You guys were naming elite quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson and guys like that. Matthew Stafford. When you found out it was Cousins, you're like, oh, shit. Can't be. Whoa, wait a minute. Oh. You know what elite looks like. Stats aren't making you elite. You know elite when you see it. Guy who can't read defenses and a guy who struggles in the pocket and throws to 2 dudes. You tell me what elite is. You see elite. Kim, it is pretty impressive. Seals, I think we need to define a pillar. Needs to be at least 3 or more years. And a key contributor. If you're gone in 27, are you a pillar? I say no. I agree. Well, wait a minute. Bob, I think half that line will be gone by the end of 27. Maybe almost all of that line. I think Dak Prescott is an elite passer. He is. Dak Prescott's an elite passer. Hurts is elite. He actually wins. Hurts is not an elite skill set at all. 0. And every other one of those guys you mentioned, the general manager of your football team would take every single one of those guys over Jalen Hurts. Get this. Hey, I'm Reyes. Let me ask you this, these guys you mentioned. Do you believe that Howie would take Hurts over Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, or Justin Herbert? Do you believe that? Do you believe that your GM would take Hurts over any one of those 4 that you mentioned? I'm asking you a question. Yeah, get this. Yes, that's a lie. Howie Roseman would take Justin Herbert in 5 seconds over him. You fucking kidding me? My God. What an absolute asshole. Getting carried through the 22 NFC Championship, carried through the 24 divisional round. He was trashing both those big games. Yeah, these other, hey, guys like Allen can't be bad any moment. Herbert would be perfect quarterback if we were casting somebody for a movie to play quarterback. Amen. 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 So let me move on here. So the pillars. What are you guys expecting from Lane Johnson this 26th season? Just curious. Return to form? So the Super Bowls don't count. Here we go again. So let me ask you this. I keep bringing up the name Jim Plunkett. He won 2 Super Bowls and an MVP in a Super Bowl. Do you think it matters if he's an elite guy or not? I just watched Sam Darnold win a Super Bowl. You don't need to be an elite guy to win a Super Bowl, dude. You don't need to be an elite guy to win it. Nick Foles is not elite. Joe Flacco's not elite. Okay? I mean, you don't have to be an elite guy to win that game. Non-elite guys. Get this. He outplayed Mahomes. Anybody in here, would you take Hurts over Mahomes if you were drafting? And Justin Herbert outplayed Hurts every time they lined up. He outplayed Mahomes. So it's a relevant conversation. It's a completely irrelevant convo. I mean, so when you bring that up, he outplayed Mahomes. So? What are you guys expecting from Lane coming back? Return to form? Are you guys expecting a return to form? You got to be elite to go to 2 Super Bowls. Matthew, so you think Sam Darnold's elite now, right? Because he just won a Super Bowl. Here, let me ask you this. Let me give you another guy. Let's see. I'm assuming he probably thinks Trent Dilfer is elite too. Whatever, guy. He's a huge dude on a bum foot. If he's really healed, yes. If they rush him back, no. Okay. Multiple? Jim Plunkett. 2 Super Bowl wins and an MVP. He's not elite. He'll never sniff the Hall of Fame. He's actually done more than Hurts. Rookie of the Year. Comeback Player of the Year. 2 Super Bowl wins. And, yeah, Eli Manning. 2 MVPs in the Super Bowl. Is Eli Manning elite? Shit, he may never get in the Hall of Fame. Those guys elite. Brad Johnson. So let me get back to Lane. What are you guys expecting from Lane? One of your pillar guys coming back. This will set up the draft conversation here that we're going to have. Jills, Plunkett brought efficiency, veteran leadership, and deep passing game to the team with a strong defense and running game. He played his part, nothing flashy. Correct. I like Jim. I worked with Jim when I did sidelines for Stanford Cardinal football. I like him a lot. I don't want my quarterback to be elite. I want a winner. Give me Tom Brady. He wasn't elite in any physical traits, but he was smarter than those so-called elite players. Brady was a savant in the pocket, something Hurts will never be. Brady won with his intelligence and his processing of the game. You may not have had the greatest feet on the planet, but what he had was his processing. Like Bernie Kosar, like when you heard Mark Trestman say, if it wasn't for the greatness of Elway, Bernie Kosar would have been a first ballot Hall of Famer because of the way he processed the game, the way he saw the game. Very few people can dissect defenses the same way that Bernie Kosar can. And Bernie Kosar did that his entire career. AJ is traded, wide receiver becomes a priority. It still would be if he's back. But OL, tight end, cornerback 2, DL. We're going to look at that here too. Lane has been going through a lot. I expect Lane to actually let his body fully heal and stop playing through injuries. Tom Brady definitely saw the game different. Absolutely. I don't have a problem saying that Jalen is a smart. He's just limited. But I do think he's smart. He can't read a defense to save his life. But I do think he's smart in how he sees the game. I do. I think he slows the game down. But when it comes to skill set and progression reading and pocket awareness, he doesn't have it. If Plunkett not going, Eli shouldn't. Yeah, well, I think they're the same dudes. Thank you for the super. Appreciate it. People need a reality check. In 2 years, Lane will be gone. Barkley will be gone. Hurts will be gone. And AJ will be gone this year. We are in a low-key rebuild, and people don't realize it. It's an incredible take, and I believe you're correct. That coaching staff change is the first sign of it. You're moving on from Jeff Stoutland is a sign that, if this thing doesn't work and people think Nick's going to be fired, they're making all these changes. So wait a minute, let me get this right. They made all these changes, and if it doesn't work, they're firing Nick? So are they setting Nick up for failure? Sills, Hurts will never be elite. That said, he may end up being generational because his success is playing in his playing days could make him one of the most successful. Like Aikman. I don't think generational. Hey, Troy Aikman's won 3 Super Bowls, and he's not considered generational. Bob, if Hurts does it and wins again, we'll see. But Aikman's not even considered generational. Aikman was never considered the best quarterback in his era. And he won the most. Here. This is the final year of Nick. Hurts Super Bowl window. Maybe. Just rip off the Band-Aid and do a complete rebuild. I want to show you guys something. That's a great topic. QBs during the Aikman era. Okay. Let's see here. So from what year did Troy play? 89 to 2000. Okay. NFL quarterbacks. 1989 to 2000. So, do you think that Troy Aikman was better than John Elway? No. Do you think he was better than Steve Young? No. Montana? No. Marino? No. Kelly? No. Randall Cunningham? No. He wasn't better than those dudes. I mean, here's the 89 year. Marino, Cunningham, Moon, Montana. Better than those guys. He wasn't better than any of them guys. Aikman made Novacek famous in The Playmaker. Okay, so let me move on here. So I say this about Lane. Here's my take on Lane. One of your pillars coming back. I'm not sure what we're going to see. Should I give him the benefit? Okay. Dart beat Eli's passing record at Ole Miss. Crazy. That is crazy. Here's my take on what I'm expecting from Lane. Back to form? I guess. Let's do this. What's your prediction on Barkley's year in 2026? How many yards? I'm going to write it down here. What do you think Barkley does this year? What do you think he does? Okay. This would be the second most rushing yards in his career for a single season. Wow. Okay. Here's what I got. I got 1,100 yards and 8 touchdowns. What do you guys make of that? I got Barkley with 1,100 yards and 8 touchdowns. Oh, my God. Way to go, dude. That's what I got. 1,108. You want to go receiving? All right, 250. And 4. So about 1,300 yards of total offense. Good job, my friend. Yeah, I got about 1,100. 807? Nah, that's too much, Sills. I got about 1,100 for him. Barkley will have 2,200 all-purpose. I love those guys. Hey, Matthew, you were one of those guys that were telling me he was going to go back-to-back like M. Reyes. $2,000. Sure. Will A.J. Brown, if here, will he return back to form? This is one of your pillars. Do you think A.J. Brown returns back to form? If here. And what's that going to look like? Hope. Remember, all of you said the quarterback was going to struggle a little bit at the beginning. So put that into context. 15 all-purpose. I don't remember him doing anything purpose, unless you're talking Barkley. What's AJ's 26 year looking like? What do you think would be a success for him? If here. Man, you will use him more as a decoy. Here's my numbers. I got 980 yards and 10 touchdowns if here. Sills, AJ could be back in form if Hurts can throw across the middle. AJ's directly tied to Jalen Hurts' success in the scheme. I got 980 yards. You guys were telling me that he lost a step last year. You just got to tell him he was going to the offense would struggle early. Okay? I have for Devontae. I got 1,200 yards for Devontae and 10 touchdowns. I think they're going to do everything in their power to try to make him become the number one. I think in this new offense fits Devontae Smith better than A.J. Brown. That's why A.J. is going to be traded, because he knows this. The more fluent wide receiver in this type of system, like the Jamar Chases, the JSNs, people like DK Metcalf and A.J. Brown, and a spread offense like this, and he's one-dimensional, can't play him in the slot, and you can't play him over on the other side. They rarely rotate him and travel him. He's always on the right side, 80% of the time. Look at his throw chart. He's never in the slot. He's not versatile. I think they're going to do everything in their power to move Devontae Smith around in this new offense. And you're going to find out if Devontae is going to be a 1,000, 1,200-yard, 1,300-yard guy this year. If he can do it, they want him to be the number one. He's got to be the heir apparent. Don't you think? You drafted him 10th. Okay? Seals will keep going down the route until he's right. Well, I will be right. I'll be right in the end always. Father Time. Okay? And by the way, like I told you, bro, outside of 24, I've not been wrong. Not when it came to your team. If AJ moves Smitty getting 15 to 1750 in yards, quarterback's not that good, dude. If Smitty is the number one, then we need a dominant tight end. That's a great take right there, Fly. I happen to subscribe to that. Not last year. Devontae Smith had more yards and receptions. Sills, it's all based on what version of the West Coast they run. Well, we don't know. You know, Barkley doesn't even know what they're going to run. All right, let me move off of that. Let me ask you this. How will the Eagles go about stockpiling this new passing game? Do you think they try to find more talent and add to the team this offseason? Add another big wide receiver at 3? Don't you think it would, if Jalen Hurts did two things, he'd have 4,000 passing yards every year. Checkdowns and throw to wide receiver 3 and tight ends more. If he threw the third wideout and the tight end more, he would have. Do you know why I keep saying he'll never throw for $4,000? Because you only use 2 wideouts. You don't really use anybody else. He would throw for 4,400 yards every year. But because he doesn't check down, he barely throws to tight ends, and he doesn't throw to wide receiver. Here, let me look something up here. I'm going to show you something. So what did Jalen have here? Okay. 294 completions, 300. Let's say 300. Now watch this. Goddard. Okay. And so, all right. Of Jalen Hurts' 294, 300 completions. Do you know only 79 of them went to wide receiver 3 and the tight end? Think about that. 79. Why is that number important? 79 of the 300 completions that Hurts had this year went to the tight end and wide receiver 3 guys. When I'm game planning, I know where you're going. You're telegraphing it. Sure, I'll let Devontae and AJ get their numbers. I know this. He'll never threaten with the middle of the field on the seam with the tight end. Rarely. And when he does, it's successful. They just don't go to it enough. And you never throw to wide receiver 3. How can you run a West Coast offense when you don't utilize the tight end and the other wideout? You want to run a West Coast offense and 2 players on the team you don't use. Dude, if that guy threw to 2 more people every game, he'd have 4,000 yards. It would be a better passing offense. Think about what I just said. 79 of the 300 completions, 220 completions go to AJ and to Devontae. 220 of those, and a couple other wideouts. So when I'm game planning, sure, A.J. Brown gets 130 yards and Devontae gets 60. So what? I know where you're going to play. I'm going to keep you underneath. He's going to throw to the sidelines. We're rarely going to be beat. And just keep everything underneath. This is why they're changing the offense. It's become so predictable that, I mean, I know where they're going. You don't throw to wide receiver 2. Oh, here's Prince trying to making sure he makes his point. Hey, too fucking bad. Get out and play and get your yards. You need to get out there and play? That's not on Devontae for making it to 17 games. A.J. Brown didn't make it to 17. Smitty had more yards. Smitty had more catches. Stop it. Don't use excuses of injuries, dude. Get your ass out there and play. Let me guess. What, his feelings hurt that day? Brought saw another example. I love him. Guy wants to try to make a point right. Well, he played 2 more games. No shit. Played 2 more games? Well, go play. Injuries are also part of the equation. That's why you're debating on what to do with the Kobe Dean. Yeah, but he played in 2 more games. Do what AJ did. Hey, dude, it wouldn't have mattered. How many of those games? By the way, let me take a look at something here. This guy make excuses for it. Injuries are not an excuse. Injuries are part of pro football. Injuries are part of Injuries are part of sports. So here's A.J. Brown. His last 3 games, 41 yards, 95 yards, and 68 yards. He had 14 targets in 3 games. His best stretch was Dallas, Chicago, and the Chargers. You know why? They were playing behind. In the Dallas game, they were ahead, and then Dallas came back from 21 down. Prior to that, 49, 13, 87, 43, 121, 27, 109. I mean, well, that means I know I'm making sense. Exactly. You have to prepare for them correctly. Injuries suck. You prepare for injuries, Brian, accordingly. That's right. Says, I want to hear your 2 cents on which quarterback do we need to satisfy for the Eagles out of the draft, or replace quarterback one, or trade for who? Dude, I'm not moving off of Jalen Hurts right now. I want to see if he can do it. I'm not getting off of that guy. 2026 will tell me all I need. I already know. Okay? I already know. Sills, Hurts can't throw to the birds, to the third wide receiver, because he can't read the defense pre-snap. Correct. Let me move on here. Unrestricted free agents. This is another topic going into the combines. Jaelan Phillips, Dallas Goedert, Jacoby Dean, Reed Blankenship, Fred Johnson, Adoree Jackson, and Jahan Dotson. All those guys, my priority would be either Blankenship or Phillips. Would be my priority. I would tell Phillips this. Here's $15 million. I'm not going north of that. I'm not paying that guy north of $15 million. I don't think he's worth it. And I love the kid. I don't think he's worth north of 15. John's trying to tell you that Jaelan Phillips is better than Josh Sweat. That's fucking bullshit. That he's better than Josh Sweat. I mean, in what world? Like, what has he done to make you think he's better than Josh Sweat? Like, what has he done? Here, Josh Sweat this past season on a shitty Cardinals team, what did he do? Sweat had 13 sacks this past season. So let me take a look at Josh Sweat the last couple of years here. What in the world do you see that Jaelan Phillips is a better player? Based on what? Like, here is the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 seasons. Because that's how many years that Jaelan Phillips has been in the league, right? Or 5, is it? 6 sacks, 7.5, 11, 6.5, 8, 12. In the last, how many years? Let's just go the years, 5 years. 1, 2, 3. There's 18.5. There's 6.5. There's 20. In the last 5 years, he's got 40 sacks. Like, I mean, he had 13 tackles for losses. Let me take a look at Jaelan Phillips' numbers now. Jaelan Phillips. Okay. 8.5, 7 early, 6.5. And in the last, you tell me, in the last, let's see, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 30. In the last 38 games, Jaelan Phillips has 11 sacks. And he's missed how many games? In the last 4 years, he's missed 13. He's missed 8. Let's see. 1, 2, Let's see. He's missed 11. He's missed 13 ball games in the last 4 years. If you sign Phillips, I hope you could fit in Chubb. Still, Sweat getting his sack numbers up isn't a surprise. The Eagles' defense prioritizes getting off the offense off the field. No, it doesn't. They were 28th in that. The Philadelphia Eagles defensively this past year, they prioritize it? Well, let's take a look at that. So you're saying they prioritize that they prioritize third down. Okay. Let's see, third down defense. Or the Eagles last year in third down defense. Eagles were 21st in third down defense. That's a prioritizing? I mean, dude, they didn't get off the field. Yeah, both on offense or defense. Potential needs heading into this combines. OT. Just mentioned Lane. Okay. Mentioned edge rusher. Tight end. Safety. How many people believe Makuba is going to be a healthy ball player? Yep. Walter Nolan was a guy we loved in the draft. Well, here. Just incredible. Letting Milton and Sweat walk. Yes. Yes. Get this. Do you not agree here? Letting Milton and Sweat walk cost you a third-round pick. Right? That cost you a third-round pick. Because you had to go get Jaelan Phillips. Right? Cost you a third-round pick. How we looked at it, it's cheaper. I'd rather give a 3 up than pay Josh Sweat $17 million. The question's going to be if Nolan Smith doesn't pan out. Because then, here's the biggest nightmare for Howie. If Jaelan Phillips walks, you lose the 3, and if Nolan Smith doesn't pan out, you lose a 3 and a 1. Remember that. That's how my mind looks. If you don't re-sign Jaelan Phillips, you lose the 3. And right now, that 1 for Nolan Smith doesn't look like a 1. He looks more like a late third, top of the 4th round right now, where we told you he was supposed to go. Like a third-round guy. And if that doesn't work out, you lose a 1 and a 3 in this whole last 4 years, 3 years here. If that guy doesn't pan out, Nolan Smith, and Phillips walks out the door, that's a big swing and a miss. It's a 1, it's the money, it's the player development that you couldn't do, and you lose draft picks. See, now they've become expensive. This is a good draft pick. But you know what they're going to do? They're going to sacrifice Moro Ojomo. Let him walk, and they're going to keep people because they're going to pay Davis and Carter. If we signed Phillips, it was a great trade. If not, it wasn't. That, as simple as that is, yes. Dude, these numbers, I'm sorry. The agents, to me, are pushing these numbers up. I don't believe some of these numbers. Like when you're talking about $20 million, like I heard somebody tell me, Robert Bailey told me he thinks he's going to get $23 million from teams like Tennessee and maybe the Chargers or maybe even the Commanders. You know, the Commanders are being in the market for Jaelan Phillips. Why do you think Carter and Nolan Smith were so